Yo, what's good everybody? King Drago Sancho 17 back with another video and back to another World Cup. It's been a while since I last uploaded the round of 32. I'm so far behind since I've already watched the round of 16 and the quarterfinals, and now we're already on to the semifinals. So we're gonna take this slowly since we have a few days until the semifinal comes. So first up we have the round of 16 for the teams that I didn't mention because my last video was around a 32. So I'll see how long this video takes, so I'll make this quick here. And yeah, I know I haven't been posting any of my video games yet lately, and they just returned Call of Duty Black Ops 1 and 2 on the PS5. So I hope everyone's enjoying that right now, and we'll get more into that later. Alright, starting on off with Canada and Morocco. Yeah, this one was pretty tough though. But honestly, did Canada really had a chance to beat Morocco? First half they were doing okay, but they just choked away in the second half. Like, they just let it go and cost Morocco to take 3-0. So they went straight through to the quarterfinals. Now, next up, we have Paraguay versus France. When we all wanted Germany to go through, and even though they didn't do well, Paraguay I don't know how they even got through to begin with. And did it turn out to be a brawl against France. And it was a brutal war. Personally, I would say France should have mopped the floor with them. And of course, they got the penalty in the 4th of July. We all saw that, and how Mbappe scored the penalty, and Paraguayans were pissed, and there's some shit controversy going on, racial abuse, all that Mbappe's facing. Well, just racism just never goes away, and we're already in 2026 and it still keeps going. Speaking about racism, which we'll get to in a few minutes, which I don't really like to talk about, and as you can tell just by looking at me, and I'm wearing the shirt, so we'll get to that later. And before the whole racism shit happens, because we all saw USA and Belgium, where I don't understand this. How is it okay for America's player to actually get red carded, was supposed to serve suspension, and the motherfucker Trump decides to fucking rescind that red card, told FIFA to appeal it, and let him play the next round? How does that work? If you think that was racist, that's even far more racist than you all think. Boy, I'm so sorry for how this is gonna turn out to be about this, and man, I'm not really proud of it for how I'm saying it and shit. But anyways, USA got a big taste of their own medicine. Belgium smoked the fuck out of America 4-1, just the way we like it. That's how justice was sort of served, but the rest is all foreshadowing. So yeah, America's out. There's no chance they were gonna beat Belgium. But Belgium were a pretty competitive team in the last few knockout stages, but this turned out to be a ghost in the group stages, but they survived. Oh boy, I'm not gonna let this one go, but to all you Portuguese fans or Ronaldo fans, I suggest you turn this video off. It's gonna get wild. Portugal and Spain ended up having a goalless draw in the first half, but that was until the second half, where Spain and Portugal were minutes away from going through extra time. And what happens? Spain goes on to score a goal thanks to Mikel Merino as a super sub, assisted by Ferran Torres. Gives it to Mikel Merino to score a last-minute goal to secure a spot in the quarterfinals. And boy, this was the end for Ronaldo and his World Cup dream at 41, and just still goes on without a World Cup. People are saying, is this the end for him? Is this the end of his run for the World Cup, or will he come back when he's 45 in 2030? Probably not. Wait. Yeah, I was right. Never mind. I honestly thought it was like 2028, but that's the Euros. 2028 Euros is the difference. But I did kind of feel a little bad for him, having him knocked out too early. But then people are still blaming Argentina. They're still blaming FIFA. They're still blaming, well, how come Portugal didn't place number one against their group, against Colombia, against Congo? Well, Uzbekistan is not really a part of this, but like, they defeated Uzbekistan 5-0, but why couldn't they beat Colombia or Congo themselves? There's no comment. And I know most of you Ronaldo fans are probably crying hard, but yet you still make excuses to this day. But there's nothing you can do to change it. That was then, and this is now. Next one. Moving on to the final four groups with the 8 remaining teams that have went through to the quarterfinals. Here we have Brazil and Norway. Who would have thought Norway, of all the people, and well, I still gotta respect Norway for being the underdogs. They defeated Brazil 2-1 after those 2 goals from Holland, the header and that one single shot, giving him space, and he just smashes that in bottom corner. And it was game over for Brazil. And what also hurt even more is Neymar, who scored his final goal for Brazil for the penalty, and having him exit out same as Ronaldo, and it was kind of heartbreaking. I did actually cry when Neymar scored his last penalty, and it was his last World Cup. I don't think we'll ever see him again. He's done. He's retired from international football. All those injuries that really cost him. And it hurts that Brazil from 2014 World Cup, they could have had something special. But after that incident against Colombia, where Neymar got a fractured vertebrae and could have been paralyzed, he was gone. And they went on to lose to Germany really badly. I know I said this in all my other videos. I do feel for Brazil. They just don't have the chemistry like they used to. They just have a bunch of random players. So all you have of the players there is like Casemiro, Vinicius, Alisson, and then you got Neymar is the last of it, even though he wasn't there. We can all put the blame on Endrick for missing that open one-on-one chance against the Norway keeper, and he fucked that up. Next up, we have Mexico and England here. Now, Mexico's run, it ends here in the round of 16. After going from not conceding goals, it all comes down to the end when they faced England. Now, not to mention Bellingham. As much as I don't like him, but he puts up a show for them, scoring 2 goals, and Kane gets a goal. And even though they were down a man with a red card. And turns out people are saying it's not a red, but it is. It is when you put your both feet up. There's no way you ain't getting away with that. That's obviously a red card. Like, what more do you want? You can make arguments about that, but that English player is probably still serving another suspension game, depending if he's eligible to play in the semifinals. So, we're moving on to the final 2 groups here of the round of 16. First off, we're going to start off with Argentina and Egypt here. I'm going to get this out of the way, because get ready for a huge rage of rant. So, I did not watch the game, unfortunately, because I was at work. So I had to watch the highlights myself. I get a notification. Egypt. First, they got the first goal. Gotta give it to them. That was a pretty good That was a pretty good goal they scored. But when they concede a foul and a penalty for Argentina, we all know who takes it and steps up, but it's a miss. Messi misses the penalty. As soon as I saw it, because my friend showed it to me, and I was like, ugh, I just walked away. And I'm like, Messi's gonna score. Now, a lot of you are still mad about the controversial disallowed goal that happened when Egypt, one of the players who made an incredible run, bypassing all of those other Argentinian defenders and scores. Well, he gets an assist and gives it to that Zico guy to score, only to find out that that goal was disallowed. Yes, it is a foul, first off. Personally, I think the ref should have just blown the whistle there before instead of having VAR to do the job for them. But at this point, I have no comment. But you guys are still arguing to this day. I can already tell. And even if I say this in my videos all the time, I have no comment. But anyways, after that goal was disallowed, Egypt did score again, and then that's where I was at work. I was panicking. I'm like, it's game over for Argentina at first. But then my other co-workers were like, hey, it's not over yet. There's still like 10 minutes to go. First off, they get a header. Cuti Romero gets a header. Once again, pass from Messi. Header from Cuti Romero. Good shit. So I was happy for that he got the header. I was like, could this be the end? And then not too long, my dad texted me. Well, first he texted me about the first goal for Argentina. I'm like, they're still in danger. And then he texted me again, and then my assistant manager and my other co-workers came to tell me that Argentina scored and it was Messi. I was getting all hyped up, starting to feel better. But then it all came down to the last and final goal. Before that happens, is it a penalty? No. Because, and I'll tell you why. And would VAR overturned it? Should have gone back for it? Say what you want. So, I think it was Julian Alvarez facing against Salah. Alvarez gets a touch on the ball right away before the foul was even committed. Salah loses the ball, he loses balance, and as he goes down to the ground, it's not a really bad dive, but just, it's a dive, period. He sticks his leg out, but Salah doesn't complain for a penalty. The play went on. And then as soon as Argentina got the breakaway, and finally Enzo Fernandez finishes the job, scoring 3 goals in a great comeback. Yes, it's a great comeback. But the Egypt fans are not happy about it, regardless. Like, what more do you want from them? What more do you want for Argentina to lose this match or everything? Like, and they say it was a rigged, robbed match. The Zico guy and even the coach, and he makes this sign, which is the anti-racial sign, which it seems to be some racism going on, and now it seems like Argentina are going to be found, if they're found guilty for the fraud or whatever shit is going on behind closed doors, this could mean Argentina could be disqualified from the World Cup. Especially if they win this, they could also potentially have the World Cup stripped off, which would be a record that could actually happen. They win, they lose. But I'm not going to go into any further all foreshadowing, because it's still an ongoing investigation and Argentina hasn't really won yet, even though they still got the next couple matches left before it's decided, which would be on the 14th or 15th of in 3 days. We'll find out what happens. And yeah, there is a match for 3rd place. Other than that, I just don't really have much to say and everything. As much as you all like to argue and to say that it was a robbery and Egypt deserved to go through, why don't you watch the full game yet again? This is all Netherlands and Argentina deja vu all over again. I don't have much to say. But like they all watch the same clips over and over again from the Instagram reels, and they just say that it's just rigged right away. But they don't watch the full game. Big difference. Now, on to the final one. We have Switzerland, Colombia. Probably one of the worst matches I have watched in the round of 16. It was basically all shots, like, no, straight up just passing, and just not anything going in. Colombia had a few shots. They had more shots than Switzerland. And in this one meme, there was like just guys pointing guns at each other. Miss, until they ran out of ammo. And all it took was the penalties. Colombia had a chance to go through, but they missed 2 of their penalties, and Switzerland scores the last penalty to make it 4-3 to secure a spot in the next round. Now, Colombia had a chance to go through, but they missed so many open chances, but just could not finish. And that's what happened when they had to suffer in the penalties, which really suck. And even though they said that Switzerland have terrible penalty takers, and even if they made it through, who knows? They would have had to play against Argentina at the time. Well, those were the teams that went through. I do have a little bit of time, so I'll go through the quarterfinals since we're on the way. Since this is gonna be a short video, a little bit, well, can't even see the time there. Yeah, I got time. So, to the quarterfinals here. Since I didn't get to fully upload the original video, like a few days ago. So, France and Morocco. What did I expect from this match here? Morocco at least to give France a real competition, but the first half, Morocco didn't even take jack shit. They only took like 1 single shot, and France took like 12 of them. Especially with that penalty, and they were arguing about the fact that they had to wait a long ass VAR review to find out. It took like 3 minutes. Just a reminder, I don't know why they're complaining about France getting Argentinian refs, and while Argentina had French refs. So what were the odds? So what's so bad about that? Oh, and Mbappe stepped up to miss. But, however, there was a turn of event. He scored. He scored in the second half. Second half is where France just took it off there. And then Dembele scores. Excellent finish by the French forward. So, yeah, they won. And Morocco, what the fuck were you guys doing, man? Like, they were not serious about winning it, but they just choked. Next up, we have Spain and Belgium there. Now, Spain and Belgium were tied. I had to miss the first half because I was at work. But all it took was, yet again, Mikel Merino, the substitute, to come in. Well, it was a shame from Courtois. After getting an injury, he was forced to limp off the competition. Having another substitute keeper. And then after that shot from Cubarsí, saved from the keeper, but he couldn't save the second one. As Mikel Merino scores and secures a spot into the semifinals. So France and Spain secure the first 2 spots into the semifinals. Since we're halfway there, and now we talk about the match here that happened recently. Norway versus England. So Norway got a pretty good first goal. Gotta give them that. Which you can say it's a cross, or is it a shot, intentionally or not. Very nice though. But then, as soon as before the second half, Bellingham scores, and as much as I don't like that motherfucker, he got lucky, but was a nice move and a good finish. I don't know what else to say. Now, a lot of you are gonna have some controversial moments where the disallowed goal happened from Norway, where that should have been that goal should have stood there, as one guy was pushing Haaland, like trying to grab his shirt, but he ends up pushing them. So it was forced to be retaken the corner kick. Now, I probably would say, was that going to be a goal kick? Probably, but the ref didn't exactly blow the whistle yet, I don't think. Well, obviously, how else are you going to proceed? Which is one thing I don't get. Once you proceed the whistle and the corner is taken, and then Haaland pushes the guy, and it's given, not only is the goal disallowed, but it's given a corner retake, which that doesn't happen very often. I don't know. But yeah, in extra time, Norway and England went through extra time, and Norway's run ends here. And no joke, I actually lost a bet. I was hoping for Norway to win with Haaland to score, but it did not end well for me. So, not the first time that something like this has happened. So, I still got a few tricks up my sleeve on the line. So, England becomes the first of the third team to go to the semifinals. So, finally, Argentina versus Switzerland, the game that I just watched not too long ago. Oh boy. We had Capo Verde and the keeper, Bolsinha, who is the 40-year-old keeper. Phenomenal. But they gave Argentina a really hard fight, 3-2, all the way up to extra time. People are saying it's rigged. But how? How is it rigged? And then there we have Egypt and Argentina. Another close call where Argentina could have lost, but once again, it's rigged because a lot of people say it. And then here we have Argentina and Switzerland. Again, it's rigged. I watched the entire game. I don't know how many of y'all watched the Argentina and Switzerland game, but was the game rigged? What do you think? Anyway, let's talk about the first half. Now, Argentina had a very good start. Corner kick from Messi, gives it to McAllister, and McAllister, goal. It was a great header too. So they start off strong. And they were doing as usual, but then once again, they did this the last few games. They were passing it to the defenders more often, like passing it back, or when they're in the middle and on the attack, they pass to the attack makes a move, but then just surrenders and pass it back to the midfield and back to the defense. Like they do that every time. They were underestimating Capo Verde, and they gave them a real competition. Same with not really Egypt, because they were already beating them 2-0. But then according to them, it's rigged after they scored 3 goals. It's still no excuse to choke up 3 goals in the last couple minutes. But then again, in the first half, Argentina were okay. So I'm like, okay, so they're safe. That is when the second half hits and they scored a goal. Like, I was like, there's no way that Dibu Martinez was stopping that goal. So I was really in big trouble there because everybody was expecting Argentina to be out, but nope. They went through extra time, luckily. Now, a lot of controversy is where it gets here. Some of the players, they question this, where some of the fans say that game was rigged because of the guy who fell, that Swiss player who got fouled. Until they checked it out, he dove, like he literally dived with no contact. Not only does Paredes get the yellow, but like the guy completely dives. He was already on a yellow from the first foul he committed on Paredes. He just goes charging up, ball no contact, he just takes him out. Straight yellow. I'm like, yeah, that's a straight yellow. That's a good call. But then, of course, when he gets fouled, he ends up diving. And what happens? He gets caught at 4K, gets himself a second yellow, red card, out of the game. Yeah, I understand why you broke in tears, but like, who the fuck dives when you're on a yellow? Like, no contact was made, and he goes down. Anyway. Yeah, this is when Switzerland started going downhill. They really screwed themselves up after having a 10-man in the second half all the way up to extra time. And extra time in the 15th minute, the first half, once again, they were still struggling. Even though Switzerland dominated the second half every time they're getting a chance. But then that red card really set them back pretty badly. So as I was watching the game, I had my mom who wanted Switzerland to win. Well, I'm not saying that she's a Ronaldo fan or anything. She just She wants Argentina to lose. Once again, it's mostly the world that wants Argentina to lose. They want Messi to lose. Yeah, I know Messi has won a World Cup and everything, but I don't care. As long as Messi wins it all, at least wins a Golden Boot, then yeah, I guess I'm happy. Although Messi didn't score, he did assist. But then in the second half of the 15 minutes of extra time, Julian Alvarez makes a curving goal and secures Argentina the spot to the next round. Once again, happy again. And then the 120th minute, Lautaro Martinez gets the rebounding goal. Good move from that Thiago Almada kid. He makes a breakaway. I thought it was Messi at first. I'm like, only one person can make a move like that. Just straight up nutmegs that one defender. He shoots, but fortunately he missed. But, however, they're still in the game. Even though after the third goal, I was like, it's over. It's all over. They face England. Yeah, I kind of feel a little sorry for Switzerland. But just a reminder, if they didn't get that red card, maybe could have pushed them to penalties. But I don't know. I watched the whole game, like I said, I didn't see nothing wrong with it other than the diving controversy that people are still going at. It's like every time that Argentina does something, it's always like a problem, rigged, anything. They watch the same clip, but they haven't watched the full game. Like, literally, fuck you guys. Just give it up. You can't change the past. You just gotta keep moving forward. But once again, if Argentina is found guilty of their cheating behind the scenes, this could be the end for them. But we don't know. It's still an ongoing investigation for the whole racial shit because, yeah, Argentina, they racially abused ISO speed, and apparently there's still some racism going on with the Argentinians and all that shit. Same with the Paraguayan lady who starts racially abusing Mbappe. All investigations, everything being found out. We won't know what happens next. But anyways, to the finals of the semifinals. Alright everybody, so because there is no World Cup until Tuesday and Wednesday at 3 o'clock, well, depending where you live, France and Spain, that is going to be a one hell of a match there. And I've got Spain on my side to go through if they can defeat France. But we don't know. This France ain't the team that they beat before because once again, they got Kylian Mbappe, they got Ousmane Dembele, they got Desiree Doué, they got Michael Olise. All those guys, their attack is unstoppable. However, Spain are the underdogs. They still got the talent. They still got like all these young La Masia players. All Barcelona players basically. I know Yamal is not having the best tournament, but can he actually step up? He did score in the Euros against France, but can he step up? And finally, England and Argentina. Oh boy. As we reached 40 years, it's been 40 years since Argentina and England have met. Everybody remembers the infamous hand of God from Diego Maradona, who scores with his hand to secure them a spot through. There was no VAR back then in those dinosaur years in Mexico 86, which is Mexico 1986 of the FIFA World Cup. Everybody's seen it and everybody's known it, but there was no technology back then. But let's not forget Maradona's infamous solo run goal that Messi recreated against Getafe back in 2007. But now in England and Argentina, this is going to be one hell of a fight. But I'm going to say this once. I'm going to get this out of the way. If Argentina, they got to stop playing the same old passing into the defenders and the keeper shit. Because that's exactly what's going on. They're letting them get to the ball too much. And that's exactly why they lose possession of the ball. They're relying too much on Messi. Yeah, I get it. Messi is the main player. And he's the star of the show. Like, he's the best player. We all get it. But you got to rely on other players. You can't just, like, expect like Messi to do all the hard work for them. It's not easy for him. Yeah, they still play like a team, they still got the chemistry, but it's not helping enough, especially with a team like England. If they keep doing it, like how they did against Capo Verde, what they did against Egypt, and what they did against Switzerland, it's going to be game over for them. If they're doing this on purpose, then why the fuck are they wasting their times? So, this is all the hopes for the final 4 strong teams, at least. France, Spain, England, and Argentina. So this is going to be one hell of a semifinals. It all comes down to this. And yes, there is a match for 3rd place too. And the finals will be on the 19th of July. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, drop a like, subscribe to my channel. So the finals, well, we'll make it to the semifinals, and then we'll predict on the finals on what do you think will happen, and we'll see who gets it right. So, semifinals on the line. Hoping for the best for one of the 2 teams that I'm going for would be Argentina and Spain. Nothing against France and England, but this has to be done. It's down to this. Sudden death. Well, I will see you guys in the next video. So, adios, buenas noches, good night.